ASUS is taking the idea of multitasking to a whole other level with the Zenbook Pro Duo. It has a huge widescreen sitting right below its main 15.6-inch display. And if you've seen the ASUS screen pad where they kind of shove the display into the touchpad, it's kind of that same concept, but just taken to a much bigger level. The end result is a machine that looks just completely unique, and honestly it reminds me a lot of the ASUS Zephyrus gaming laptops because the keyboard is way up front, the trackpad is on the right side, and the screen is just taking up all that space in between the main display and the actual keyboard. It may look a little weird and you may not think you can do much with just a simple wide screen sitting right above your keyboard, but it seems like ASUS has really thought this out. You can run 3 apps just divided up inside of that display. You can have one main app taking over that thing. And I think the coolest feature is that with the touch of a button, you can have a single app take over both the main display and that extra screen at the bottom. And that just really makes for a huge immersive experience. I think of somebody working on spreadsheets, programmers who really like having vertical displays, because I know that's a thing. It could be really useful for that sort of use case. And just about everything we're seeing in the Zenbook Pro Duo just screams quality. ASUS stuffed in a 15.6-inch 4K OLED screen, which looks glorious. The actual bottom screen is just an IPS LCD, but still looks very good. And I think if you have the brightness match between both, it's kind of a seamless experience watching content across both. And if you've seen the Zephyrus, you've definitely kind of have the idea of what the Zenbook Pro Duo is doing. It has the same basic case design, and also it has the Ergo Lift feature, so when you lift the screen up, it kind of rises the bottom of the computer up a little to add in more airflow and just make typing on it a lot more ergonomic. Under the hood, the Zenbook Pro Duo, the 15.6-inch model, is going to be running Intel's Core i9 HK processors, and it's going to have NVIDIA's RTX 2060 graphics. So it'll be decent for gaming, but I think this is a machine meant more for professionals who need a little bit of graphics power. And ASUS is also going to be producing a 14-inch version of this machine, which we didn't get to see, unfortunately, but the idea of it sounds really cool. We may not get to see it in America, but honestly, it's just a big problem because in general, we're not seeing as many 14-inch screens in America. Hopefully, ASUS will take the note. Maybe people will show that they'll actually want to buy these things. And after playing around with the Zenbook Pro Duo for a bit, using those 2 screens takes a bit of getting used to, but once you figure out all the commands and you see where all the shortcuts are, it seems like it could be really useful. I can imagine somebody who really works in Excel a lot could do something with these displays. And also for like anybody editing video with huge timelines or audio, having all this screen real estate could be a lot more useful for them. And I think what's really interesting about the Zenbook Pro Duo is that it doesn't just feel like a weird experiment. They basically took a design that they've always been using for the past couple of years and just improved upon it. And they shoved a screen in there. Typing on it feels a lot like it did with the Zephyrus. ASUS tells me this is a new keyboard design, so there's a decent bit of key travel, but I think typing feels better than the Zephyrus, to be honest. And the trackpad, even though it's on the right side, takes a little bit of getting used to. I ended up really liking that with the Zephyrus, so I think people could really dig it here. I think what's most useful about the Zenbook Pro Duo is that it's basically taking advantage of Windows' new Universal Apps compatibility. So the idea that you can run, Windows apps from the Microsoft Store on a tablet just as easily as you can run them on a desktop or a laptop, that sort of transition works really well when you have all this extra screen real estate. I was able to put together, a web browser up top, Spotify, YouTube on the bottom. This thing is a multitasker's dream, and hopefully third-party app makers will take advantage of some of the hooks ASUS is going to make available around this. I could see Spotify having like a custom interface that makes it easier to, navigate all of your playlists and things like that within this app. The Zenbook Pro Duo doesn't have a price yet, but ASUS says it'll be available around July, and that 14-inch version, the one with the much smaller screen, may pop up around September. Hopefully we'll hear about a US release at some point there too. Stay tuned to Engadget.com for more news from Computex 2019.